morning. Diane Riley, and I'm going to be reading a few books to you today. They have something to do with going back to school, which I'm sure none of you want to do, but they help you to think of and deal with friendships when you have a friend, but they don't always want to be your best friend, or if at some point you get mad or angry at your friend, and ways to help you deal with all of that. The first book is Frankie's Train Day, and it's by Mr. Aaron and illustrated by Monique Dong and Leo Trinidad. Frankie loved trains. He loved tracks and trolleys and tickets and tunnels. He loved subways and steam trains and stations and signals. Frankie loved to play with his toy trains. Dressing up as the train conductor was his favorite thing to do. First, he would say, "Tickets, everyone?" Then he would shout, "All aboard!" as the train left the station. His train could go anywhere he could imagine. They sped through mountain valleys. They stopped at Pizza Street Station. They even went to the North Pole. What else could Frankie make his train do? Frankie had an idea. He asked Miss Rachel for help. Together, they found a cardboard box and cut out a tunnel. They made cotton ball clouds, tissue paper trees, and mountains with markers. Miss Rachel used the last cardboard roll from the wrapping paper bin to make a ramp. It went all the way down the mountains to the valley. "This will be the best day of train play ever," Frankie cheered. Finally, the perfect train track was ready. Frankie grabbed a wooden toy train off the shelf and ran over to play. But before Frankie could try the big ramp, his classmate Herbie tripped and spilled a big cup of paint water all over the ramp and trees. Oops. "No, Herbie!" Now the trees were soggy, the tunnel was trampled, and the ramp was ruined. It was the only roll of cardboard left. Miss Rachel knelt down next to Frankie. "You look really mad, Frankie." "You can say I'm mad." "I'm mad." "It's okay to feel mad," said Miss Rachel. "Would you like to have some space, or would you like me to help?" "I'd like you to help," Frankie said to Miss Rachel. Miss Rachel showed Frankie a chart of things he can choose to do when he's having big feelings. "When I'm mad, I can breathe, blow off steam, take a drink of water, count to 10, listen to some music, play with some blocks, play with some Play-Doh, take a walk, draw a picture." Frankie chose to take deep breaths. When he breathed in, he pretended to smell the roses. When he breathed out, he pretended to blow out the candles. Doing this helped Frankie feel less mad, but he was still a little sad. "The best day of train play is ruined," he said. "It's so frustrating when accidents happen," Miss Rachel said calmly. "I wonder if there's a way for us to fix this together." During recess, Frankie felt bad for yelling at Herbie. He knew it was an accident. He loved playing with his friend. He decided he would say sorry to Herbie. After recess, Frankie came inside to a big surprise. Herbie and Miss Rachel had spent recess making the entire train track again. They found a new box to be the train tunnel. They drew mountains with markers. They put up cotton balls, clouds, and tissue paper trees. They even taped together 2 paper towel rolls for a ramp. Frankie and Herbie ran over to each other. "I'm sorry for spilling water on your trains," Herbie said. "And I'm sorry for yelling at you," Frankie said. "Do you want to play trains with me?" "Yes." "All aboard," Frankie said in his best conductor voice. "The next stop is Asparagus Avenue," Herbie added. Frankie and Herbie played toy trains together for the rest of the day. It was the best day of train play ever. The end. Sometimes just saying sorry makes things better. The next book I have to read is Kindegarten, Here I Come. And it's written by D.J. Steinberg and illustrated by Mark Chambers. Kindergarten, here I come. Kindergarten, here I come. I'm checking off the list of everything I need for school. Let's see, what have I missed? Backpack, check. Glue stick, check. A labeled cubby box, check. Extra pair of underwear, check. Extra pair of socks, check. Crayons, check. Scissors, check. Mom says I'm all set. But wait, there are tons of other stuff I'd better not forget. My cuddle bear, my magic wand, my superhero cape, 2 flashlights, and a tool set in case I must escape. Mom says to put those things back where I took them from. She says that I won't need that stuff. She promised school won't be too rough. I hope she's right. I really do, 'cause kindergarten, here I come. My teacher did a magic trick the minute that I came. I don't know how, but presto, poof, she somehow knew my name. Then bam, she figured out I'm nice and that I'm really smart. And just like that, she seemed to know how good I am at art. I think she used some magic spells to make the whole day fun. Of all the teachers in the world, I'm glad that she's my one. Crisscross applesauce. Crisscross applesauce, that's the way we sit. Not feet out sauerkraut, not cottage cheese on your knees, not bottoms up coffee cup, not blueberry jelly on your belly. But crisscross applesauce, that's the way we sit. Once upon a story time, goblins, bunnies, kings and queens, cats in hats, and magic beans. Once upon a far away, which book will we read today? Yellow Lunchbox. I love you, yellow lunchbox. Click, I open you to see what treasures lie inside today. What did Mom pack for me? Ah, so there you are, below those good things I should eat. I found you, chocolate cupcake. You're my favorite part, the treat. Missing tooth. I was munching on my apple when suddenly, crunch, my tongue felt something missing, and I had a little hunch. Out came a tiny pebble, all shiny, smooth, and white. Hey, look, the tooth fairy's coming to my house tonight. Recess. I'm a fireman to the rescue. Down the pole I slide. Look now, I am a monkey, swinging side to side. I'm a climber up the mountain. I'm queen of this whole town. Check me out. I'm a bat hanging upside down. Watch me creep across this beam. I'm a sneaky thief raccoon. I'm the pilot of a rocket ship, zooming to the moon. In only half an hour, up we all these things and more, till recess time is over and we head back to the door. Counting craze. There are 22 children here in room 109, a guinea pig, 3 goldfish, and 1 cuddle bear, mine. There's 1 really nice teacher with 8 buttons on her dress and 1 billion purple polka dots, more or less. There are 39 crayons that fell out of the box, 53 cars, and 87 blocks, 24 food cans in our make-believe shop. Oh, help! I've learned how to count. Now I just can't stop. No nap rap. I'm not tired. I'm not sleepy. I'm wide awake, you see. It's daytime. It's my playtime. You say nap time? Not for me. I'll lie flat upon the mat, but I'm not counting sheep. You can snooze, but I refuse. Oh no, I will not go to zzz. Field trip. Hooray, hooray, a field trip day, adventures in the air. Driver, driver, please don't stop until you get us there. We squeal and hoot, we screech and roar, and stomp the whole way through, just like a bunch of animals until we reach the zoo. Best friends. Heather was my best friend this morning on the bus, but she talked so much to Shauna that I made my best friend Gus. But Gus said he was Noah's friend and wouldn't take it back. So I had to go and trade him for a better best friend, Zach. Zach wouldn't share the box of blocks, so what else could I do? At lunchtime, I sat right down beside my newest best friend, Sue. Then Sue ate half my cupcake. I didn't say she could. In art, I was all by myself. I was done with friends for good. Then someone came and asked me, "Can we paint together?" So on the bus ride home again, my new best friend was Heather. George. I have a kindergarten friend who isn't very big. I'm talking about George Washington, our classroom guinea pig. I always stop to talk to him about the stuff we like. I'm telling him what's on TV and how to ride a bike. I'm teaching him his ABCs and how to draw a heart. He always pays attention. That George is clearly very smart. 100th day of school. I brought 100 marbles inside my plastic cup. Zach brought 100 chocolate chips till someone ate them up. Nina's 100 toothpicks all came inside one box. Aaliyah brought a picture of her 100 chicken pox. I used to think 100 was a lot when I was small, but now that it's the 100th day, I am old enough to say 100 isn't all that many at all. Show and tell. Today is my turn for show and tell, but somehow I forgot. I could have brought a cuddle bear, or else my new robot. I could have brought my snow globe or my cool vacation hat. I could have brought my goldfish, except I didn't think of that. So now my hands are empty and my teacher's calling me. But hang on, I see something staring right in front of me. Quick! I draw 2 dots on my finger while I stand. Then I make my thumb into a mouth. Hi, class. Please meet my hand. Line leader. Line up time. It's a race. Everybody wants first place. But I go slowly. I don't run, 'cause I'm the line leader. I was picked the line leader. So make way, kids, for number 1. Growing seeds. We planted seeds in paper cups and put them on the sill. We watered them and watched and watched and watched those cups until I peeked today and check it out. A little baby seeding sprout. Growing me. What happened to my favorite pants? That ones that used to fit. Now they come up to my knees when I try to sit. My toes won't wiggle in my shoes the way they used to do. I think somebody shrunk my clothes. Or could it be I grew? Last day. I hugged my teacher. Please don't cry. And she said, beg your pardon? I said, we're going to first grade, but you're stuck in kindergarten. The end. Went through a whole year of kindergarten in a few pages.
Hi, welcome to Story Hour. My name is Meg Pellis. Today I'm going to be reading Library Mouse, A World to Explore by Daniel Kirk. Sam was a library mouse. He lived in a little hole in the wall behind the children's reference books. Every night he went looking for adventure between the cover of books. One evening, Sam went for a stroll. He smiled to see the class projects children had made atop the library shelves. A poster on the wall read, "Discover our great big world." "It is a great big world," Sam said, "and I love to read all about it." Then he sighed, gazing at the books on the very top shelves, which were just a little too high for him to climb to. Suddenly, Sam saw something out of the corner of his eye. Swoosh! Another mouse landed gracefully on the floor right in front of him. "Whoa," she said, "that was some ride. Good thing I had my parachute." She stuck out her paw and smiled. "Hi, my name's Sarah. What's yours?" I'm Sam," he said. "I live here." "I live here too," said Sarah, "on the other side of the library. I was exploring, and that's when I discovered that playground up there." "Playground?" asked Sam. "Yeah, up high on the shelves," Sarah explained. "You can see almost the whole world. I just went on that giant slide. I didn't know I was going to fall so far, though." "You climbed all the way up there?" Sam asked. He had never dared go all the way to the top. "Sure," Sarah said. "I'm an explorer. All explorers climb." Sam shook his head. "Well, that's not a slide. You just went down the side of a pyramid." "A what?" "A pyramid," Sam said, "like in ancient Egypt. Only children made this one. There are pictures of real pyramids in the books you knocked off the shelf." "Wow," Sarah said. "I didn't know there were books about stuff like this." "Are there books about the other fun things I was climbing?" she asked. "You mean the Statue of Liberty and the Eiffel Tower?" Sam grinned. "Follow me." "We're going to do some research," Sam said. "We'll start with Egypt." "What's research?" Sarah asked. "It's how you found out about things," Sam said. "If you can't go to the real pyramids, you can read about them, right over here." Sam and Sarah pored over dozens of books, and Sarah oohed and ahed at the pictures. She gazed up at the tall shelves and said, "Research is fun. Let's climb up high and see what books are up there." "Not tonight," Sam said, looking wearily at the tall shelves. "Maybe we could play down here." "Then let's pretend we're pharaohs in ancient Egypt," Sarah replied. "We can use these books for research on how to dress up." It was nearly daylight when Sam returned home. He picked up his pencil to write about what had happened. He had never met anyone like Sarah before. The next night, Sarah said, "There's a Jeep up there that's just our size. Come on, Sam. We can pretend we're exploring and drive to the top of the tallest mountain." "I don't think you can drive to the top of the tallest mountain in a Jeep," Sam said. "Besides, we can pretend from down here." "You're not afraid, are you?" Sarah asked. Of course not," Sam said in a squeaky voice. Sarah saw that Sam was nervous. "We could always do a little research first," she said. "Good idea," said Sam. While looking at a book about mountain climbers, Sarah had another idea. "I'll be right back," she said, and she returned with some string and a paper clip. "I'll hook one end of the string up top," she said, "then I'll drop the other end down for you to tie around your waist. That way you won't have to worry about falling." "I'm not worried," Sam said as she started to climb. Soon it was his turn. He remembered that he had read that when climbing he should not look down, so he didn't. At the top shelf, Sam breathed a sigh of relief. It hadn't been as scary as he thought it would be, and he and Sarah played and played until dawn. Back on the ground, Sarah said, "You know, I bet we could explore even more of the world if we rode on that airplane over there." Sam looked up at the display the librarian had hung above the tallest shelves. "It doesn't really fly," he said, "and we couldn't reach it anyways." "I know it can't fly," Sarah said, "but think of how much of the world we can see from up there. We can climb to the top of the bookshelf, then jump over to the plane. It'll be easy." But Sarah wouldn't take no for an answer. "Sam," she said, "tonight we're going to get into that airplane and we're going to see the world." Throughout the day, Sam was so nervous he could hardly sleep or read. He didn't want to let Sarah, or himself, down, but he didn't want to get into that airplane either. That night, Sarah led Sam to the top bookshelf. The airplane looked very far away. "We're good explorers and we're good jumpers too. We can do it," Sarah said. Sam clenched his teeth and crept to the edge. "Follow me," Sarah said, and then she jumped. Sam jumped too and climbed into the seat behind Sarah. "We're off to see the world," she cried. But just at that moment, the string that held the airplane broke. "Wahoo!" Sarah hollered. "Ah!" Sam screamed. They sailed over the Eiffel Tower and the Great Wall of China, over the Statue of Liberty and the Great Pyramids. They sailed past volcanoes and mountaintops, past coral reefs and deserts, between rows of bookshelves, and right out the door of the children's room. The airplane bumped to a stop in a dark hallway. Sam leapt out of his seat. He didn't stop running until he was back in the little hole in the wall. "Sam!" Sarah cried. "Come back! Explorers don't run from danger!" Sam hid behind his bed and wouldn't come out. But later, when his heart stopped pounding, he went to his writing desk, picked up his pencil, and got to work on a new project. "Readers and writers are explorers too," he said. "Wow," Sarah said the next evening when she saw Sam's book. "Sam and Sarah see the world. We're both a couple of explorers." "And we never even had to leave the library," said Sam. "We didn't have to leave the library," Sarah said with a twinkle in her eye. "But just think of all the books you could write if you really got to see the world. What do you say we take a little research trip?" As they strolled through the library, Sam didn't know what to say. He had never met a mouse like Sarah. And this book is Night Owl by Christopher Dennis. Okay. Since the day he hatched, Owl had one wish: to be a knight. Every morning, before he drifted off to sleep, he imagined himself as a real knight. He would be brave, he would be clever, and he would have many friends. It was all a dream until one day, knights began disappearing from the castle. So Owl applied to night school, and to everyone's surprise, he was accepted. Owl was an excellent student, but he had a tough time with the sword, and even the smallest shield was a problem. And he had the habit of nodding off during the day. Night school was hard, but Owl worked and worked. He graduated with honor, as all knights do. Owl was assigned to the night watch. He was very good at his job. The other knights usually fell asleep during the long night watch, But Owl didn't mind. All alone in the castle wall, he finally felt like a real knight. Until late one evening, it was very dark and very, very quiet when Owl heard a strange noise. Whoosh! It sounded like a huge bird flapping its wings. Whoo! Owl called. He heard the sound again. Whoosh! 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 Hoo! Hoo! He called. Whoosh! Hoo! 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 Owl called. Who, me? Said a deep voice. Who, you? Asked Owl. I am a hungry dragon, said the dragon. Owl was very afraid, but because he was now a real knight, and knights are brave, he puffed out his feathers and said, I am Owl. I am knight of Night Watch. You don't look like a knight, said the dragon. You look like a midnight snack. Owl's feathers trembled, but because he was a real knight and knights are clever, he said, You don't want me. I'm too small, hardly even a mouthful. A mouthful is enough, said the dragon. I'm all feathers and fluff, said Owl. A great dragon like you needs something tastier and more filling. How about a pizza instead? It turned out the dragon loved pizza. They talked about how each of them had hatched from eggs, how much they liked the night, and how flying was hard to explain to someone who had never done it before. They really had a lot in common. The following week, not a single night disappeared, or the week after that. And every night, Owl patrolled the walls. It was very dark and very, very quiet, but Owl didn't mind, because he was brave, he was clever, and he had many friends. The end.